Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Science. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to build a really simple motor using simple materials that you may have lying around at home. First, I'll go through the materials that you'll need, and then I'll show you how to build the motor and how to put it all together. The first thing you need is some wiring, some wire like this. Now, the wire that I have here actually has some insulation covering it. And if your wire also has some insulation around it, you'll need to sandpaper that off. And I'll show you why shortly. So you'll need some wire. You'll need paper clips, okay? And you need to bend them into this shape. You need two of them that are bent to this shape. And I'll also show you why shortly. You need some magnets. You can use a horseshoe magnet like this, or you can use bar magnets like this, whatever magnet you've got lying around. You'll also need a power supply. So I've got my power pack here. If you don't have this, batteries will also work. Okay, so that's just fine. You'll also need additional wiring to connect to your power source and to also connect to the paper clips. And I'll explain why I'm doing that in just a moment as well. Okay, so the first step we want to do is build our coil. This is the structure that's actually going to be spinning. It's going to be spinning on these two arms here, just like that. In order to build this, you'll need to take your wire and pull out a happy medium of wiring. If it's too small, you can't build your coil, and if it's too long, it can get a bit heavy. So depending on your power source, depending on how much wire you have, find a happy medium. And you'll need a pair of pliers to cut the wire. If you don't have pliers, you can just use scissors, assuming the wire is nice and thin. I've got a piece of wire that I've already cut over here. The next step, once you've cut your piece of wire, is you need something circular to wrap it around. So I'm just using my whiteboard marker here. Leaving a bit on the end there, I'm going to wrap my wire around my circular object, my whiteboard marker. You want the coils to be nice and tight, nice and close with each other. And then leave a bit on the end as well. So it ends up looking something like this to begin with. The next step is to loop these extra bits around it. So feed it through, loop it around. Oops. And that just tightens the coil and makes it much neater. And that'll do for now. I'm just making it very quickly. When you go to do or create your one, you want to take a bit of time with it to make sure it's as even and balanced as it possibly can. So I've just rushed this one, but your one will probably need to be better than this one. Here's another coil I made earlier, which is much better balanced. The arms are coming out in the middle of the coil, and even on this dimension, so if I bring it nice and close to the camera, the arm is poking out through the middle of the coil itself. So if the more balanced and even your coil is in every shape, way, and form, the easier it will spin. Okay, so you want to balance it as best you can, make everything as even as you can. Once you have the coil, the next step will be to grab your paper clips. You need two of them, and to bend them into this shape. And this is actually where the coil is going to be sitting on. Okay, and then it spins on there. Now here's one that I prepared earlier. Okay, so at the moment I'm simply piercing this foam mat or foam block with my two paper clips that are bent. Okay, and I've just pierced it in. If you don't have a foam block, you can use Play-Doh or blue tack even, whatever you've got lying around the house that would allow you to keep these paper clips in place. The next step is I'm connecting my alligator clips, or if you've only got wire, you don't have alligator clips, you can just wrap your wire around the paper clip itself. From there, I'll connect it to my power source. So I'll put the positive end here and the negative end there. Okay, so at the moment the current is going to be running from this terminal up this paper clip, and then I'm going to place my coil on the paper clip, and as the current runs up the paper clip, it's going to run through the coil, down this paper clip and back into the power box. Now, when I run current through this coil, it actually generates a magnetic field that loops around the coil, around the middle of the coil and around the outside of it. And that's really important because when I run current through it, it's generating a magnetic field, and then when I bring another magnet close to it, the two magnetic fields, the magnetic field from the magnet and the magnetic field generated from this coil when I run current through it, those two magnetic fields interact and they generate a force. And using that force, you can get this coil to spin. I can already see now my coil is not as well balanced as I had it before. I had this spinning like a jet engine before, but now that I'm filming, of course, is it going to work? I'm starting on 2 volts, nice and easy. And I hold my magnet nice and close to the coil, turn it on. Sometimes it just needs a little nudge to get going, and away we go. Just like that. How cool is that? And if it's not perfectly balanced, sometimes it falls off. I'll see if I can balance it a bit better. Let's crank it up to 4 volts and see if I can get it spinning faster. Yeah, now it's going. Once you've got it going and the sparks get going, it's pretty fun. Again, the more evenly balanced you can get these arms, and do be careful because it can get quite hot if you use it for a while, the more balanced these arms are, the better it spins. I had it spinning really good before. Let's see if I can get it. And you can play around with the different amounts of voltages. You can swap over your magnet to get it to spin the other way. You can even swap over the direction of the current to spin it the other way as well. There's a few different variables that you can play with. Give me a moment to adjust the camera so that I can give you a close-up of the coil. Okay, I think that's as low as I'm going to be able to get it. Okay. And let's try turning it on again. Pretty cool, pretty satisfying once you get it going. I've got a smaller coil here as well. Let's see if I can get, so here's my smaller coil. So I just wrap this one around something smaller, obviously. This one doesn't look anywhere near as well balanced. Let's see if I can get it spinning anyway. Oh. No. The most important factor is a tight coil, but these arms, they really do need to be evenly spaced. So as in the middle, as straight as you possibly can get it. And once you've got that going, well, you can have fun with your very own simple motor. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you on the next episode of Science.